DRE number 10961658.
As we continue, we'll be joined by Victor Avila from Veterans for Trump, all as your Friday morning answer continues.
Never miss a moment with the Morning Answer podcast. Available every day at am870.info.
Thanks for joining us on your Friday morning answer. Finally a Friday here. I'm Jennifer Horn.
And I'm Grant Stinchfield.
And joining us right now, a guy with such an interesting story. Victor Avila is here. He is a former ICE special agent. He has a book out called Agent Under Fire, and an incredible story as a retired supervisory special agent with ICE, Homeland Security Investigations, the Department of Homeland Security. He was attacked. He suffered multiple gunshot wounds and survived an ambush by the drug cartels in Mexico. Unbelievable story. He writes about it in his book, which you can get, Agent Under Fire, and you can follow him on Twitter as well at Victor Avila TX for Texas. And Victor, thanks so much for being with us, and welcome to the Morning Answer.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Your story is truly, truly incredible. Knowing what you know and your history at the border, what do you think about the policies of Joe Biden, who this week there were rumors he was going to take executive action. Now they say, oh, the border's just going to fix itself, and they're putting the pressure on Congress when this is something that Joe Biden could secure. How does that make you feel as someone who knows what these cartels are doing at our southern border?
Well, every time I'm at the border, I go through a lot of emotions. I get angry. I get confused. I'm kind of wondering and perplexed why this administration has done this deliberately. I have some few answers about that as well. But listen, they're changing the fabric of our communities one neighborhood at a time. And this open border policy, it doesn't benefit anybody. It doesn't benefit the U.S. and it doesn't benefit the migrants themselves. That we've had 1,800 deaths, drownings, died in the desert, being beat up and extorted by the cartels, raped. All these horrific stories. And I tell you, because I worked in Mexico, I've worked in Europe, I've seen other borders, I've lived in other countries. And I compare what's going on here, and this is just it's at a point that it's been unsustainable for a time and for a long time. But now communities within the United States are noticing on their doorstep, wait a minute, what's going on here? Where our American children are being pushed aside at schools, our ERs and hospitals are now second to U.S. citizens. The same thing, the criminal justice systems, the police departments, the police chiefs. They're overwhelmed. Now, I know not everybody that comes over here commits crimes, but we have too many that actually do, and serious crimes. I'm not just talking about murder and other, but property crimes, things that affect us as Americans that we weren't used to seeing, and that's the big picture. Now, if you want to go a little bit further, then we start looking at the international and foreign policy aspect of it, and we're talking about terrorism and national security. We're talking about Iran, Cuba, Venezuela, many other countries, Hezbollah, Hamas, trying to gain, as a matter of fact, already have gained access into our country through that southern border. And then I have to hear Alejandro Mayorkas telling me and the American people that the border is secure. I mean, my lying eyes tell me something else. And then for Biden to just say that he doesn't have the authority to fix it when he's the one that had the authority to destroy it. It is very an insult, not just to the American people, but to the border agents trying to do their jobs on the border itself.
So we're talking with Victor Avila, who is a former agent working the border himself, as Jen mentioned, came under fire, injured in the line of duty. He's got a book out now, Agent Under Fire. Victor, you and I have talked about the characters that come across the border. And you just mentioned something about how they're coming to communities. It's not just our big cities. Rockland, Massachusetts, which is a suburb south of Boston. Haitian migrant rapes a 15-year-old girl in one of these hotels that's housing these illegal aliens. He was part of this parole, this catch and parole program that I believe is totally illegal. Now, Haiti is falling apart right now. I'm told there are Haitian gangs coming across. We're getting Haitians coming in. What are you hearing from your sources inside the Border Patrol as far as Haiti goes and the danger they now pose to us?
Great question, because I've been on the phone the last couple of days and a few days regarding the Haitians. And so there's conflicting stories even from within my sources when it comes to CBP, Air and Marine, the Coast Guard. I'm getting two conflicting stories. One is that the Coast Guard, one is what, I'll tell you what they want to do. Our men and women in law enforcement want to stop them from coming in. So what I'm about to tell you is what they're getting from their superiors, from the Department of Homeland Security, that maybe they're not going to be allowed, and they're going to have to follow orders to escort some of these boats coming into Florida. That's one of the stories that I'm hearing. The other story is that they're going to try to repel them and escort them either back to Haiti or to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Now, you know which one I'm going to favor. We need to stop these people from coming in because, and it kind of goes hand in hand with what we've seen with the Venezuelans. These people are unhinged. They're coming from broken countries. The governments are broken. They're corrupt. And that's what these people know. And they will bring that here. If you think that they're going to hit U.S. soil and all of a sudden want to be an American and adopt our U.S. Constitution and follow the law, you're gravely mistaken. These people will come, and a lot of them with a lot of crimes, a lot of them with a lot of diseases, a lot of them with a very different agenda. They haven't been, they come from a different culture. And all of a sudden, we're going to be forced to absorb that. And you're absolutely right. In the small communities, let me tell you, these small counties and cities, which make up the United States of America, are being impacted very, very highly. And people tell me around the country, I go around the country speaking to police groups, and they tell me they're now starting to worry about their public safety. And once public safety goes, then kind of everything else doesn't matter, because you need to be safe in your own neighborhood.
You know, we thank you so much for standing up and for talking about this, and for, a congressional run even. You are really in the game to try to get people aware of what's going on at the border, and it's working. I think people are waking up. It's become a top issue for this election cycle, and we hope to see better action coming out of the Biden White House. Get in touch with Victor right now. You can find him on Twitter/X, Victor Avila on TX on Twitter/X. You can also pick up his book, and you can find more information on him at victoravilaspeaks.com. Victor, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for your time today, and thanks for continuing the fight.
Absolutely. Thank you. You're welcome back anytime. As we continue.